All right, welcome to the JDC West 2021 Business Technology Management case presentation sponsored by Integration Works. Thank you to our judges, Murray Leckie of Integration Works, Daniel Parsons of Bison Transport, Justin Funke of Damon Defense, and Claudio Sosa of Integration Works. Competitors will have a maximum of 20 minutes to present. Immediately following the presentation, judges will have a total of 5 minutes to ask the presenters questions. I am our academic moderator who will be timekeeping, and I will control the overall flow of the presentation format. Time intervals will be noted in the Zoom chat by myself beginning at the 10-minute mark. Following the presentation, I will facilitate the question and answer period. Judges will indicate their intent to ask a question by using the hand raised function, which I will call on them to indicate the next question. No questions or comments will be permitted from the audience at any time. The audience is also prohibited from communicating to the presenters in any form, including Zoom or via other mediums during the presentation or questions. If you're an observer, please ensure your camera is off and your microphone is muted. Once the questions period has completed, the Zoom meeting will end. Competitors, you're free to begin your presentation.
From your beginnings as a small location in downtown Toronto in Little Italy to the large company that you are now with multiple locations across Canada, you understood the need to build innovative solutions that are based on every decade that passed by as information technologies grew. This decade is no different, and you wanted to take advantage of the data strategies that are being built every day in this new decade. Project Mont Blanc was just another step into being able to have that innovation that you have always prided yourself on. But how can we move on from the failure of the previous implementation and build an effective data warehousing strategy? I want to introduce two people, Mark and Julia. They are both essential to the implementation of Mont Blanc, but they were frustrated with those implementations. Mark is a longtime customer at Armilo locations, and Julia has been working at one of your locations for a very long time. Mark is frustrated in the inaccurate transactions that he is involved in, and this has resulted in strained relationships with his suppliers. He's also frustrated with the accuracy of predictions that are in the product stock being 7 days outdated. Julia, on the other hand, is feeling that the inaccuracy of the stock rate has led to customers being upset with her, and she feels like she is taking all of the punishments for any errors that were made due to the implementation of Mont Blanc. How can we be able to use their voices and build a better implementation strategy? Last time, you climbed Mont Blanc by yourself. This time, let's have a Sherpa guide you and be able to take you to that peak of actualization. My name is Jonathan, and with me today is Michael and Joyce, and we are here for Summiting Solutions, here to be able to take you to that peak that you've always wanted to be on. Michael will introduce our executive summary.
So as Jonathan mentioned, we want to see how you can re-implement an effective data warehousing strategy. Our criteria today is that you have a scalable, digital sales effective solution and an accurate solution as well. Today, we want to implement Mont Blanc again while focusing on enhanced and clean data with the help of a professional systems integrator. The impact we want to see is that buyers are confident in making correct orders, sales associates produce accurate customer profiles, while managers can make effective business decisions. Next, Joyce will speak to our SWOT analysis.
Thanks, Michael. Within the SWOT analysis today, I wanted to highlight key points from each of the 4 sectors. So in your strengths, we want to recognize that you have strong relationships with your suppliers and you understand the need to shift locally hosted data to the cloud. However, some weaknesses that you have currently are that business processes are hosted on a disjointed combination of Excel sheets and Dropbox. Some opportunities we've noticed is that there is an increase of online ordering, which could lead to new benefits and opportunities. And last but not least, a threat we have noticed is that the COVID-19 pandemic has also pushed many companies to pursue adaptive online solutions just like yourself. Therefore, a critical insight that we would like to take away from the SWOT analysis today is that cloud-hosted solutions are able to grow within your company, and that COVID-19 has emphasized the need for online sale opportunities. Next, I'll pass it off to Michael, who will discuss our stakeholders analysis.
Thanks. Our first stakeholder is the customer. We need to be able to they need to be confident in inventory counts, and especially when ordering online during stay-at-home orders. We also want to keep sales associates informed. Their job centers around the ability to have accurate customer records and information. They also value the ability to make good recommendations and excellent sales. Finally, managers. They rely on the data warehouse to pay suppliers on time and in the amount specified, not underpaid or overpaid. The critical insight is that customers expect high stock levels and accurate online inventory counts. Next, we'll talk about our criteria mapping.
Thank you, Michael. So we took those critical insights that we observed during our analysis tools and compared them with the criteria that we developed at the beginning of our presentation. Cloud-hosted solutions being able to grow with the company matches with scalability. COVID-19 emphasizing the need for online sales opportunities matches with having digital sales. And customers expecting high-level and accurate inventory stocks matches with accuracy. And therefore, we have taken these criterias and developed KPIs to be able to measure our future implementation plan. The system must grow with the company for at least 8 years. Digital sales ensure that digital sales must grow by 20% year by year. And the accuracy must mean that at the use of scorecards for customers, customers will be able to have satisfaction of accuracy and stock levels of above 80%. To use our alternatives and compare them to the criteria that we developed, Joyce will be the judge of that.
Thanks, Jonathan. So our 3 alternatives today include reverting to Excel and Dropbox, fixing and working around the current issues, and re-implementing the Mont Blanc strategy with professional assistance. So taking a deeper look into our alternatives, we have determined that reverting to Excel and Dropbox is not scalable and does not support digital sales. And while fixing and working around current issues supports digital sales, it is not scalable and is not very future oriented. Therefore, we have determined that the best solution today is to re-implement Mont Blanc with professional assistance. And I'll pass it off to Michael to take a deeper look at that.
Thanks, Joyce. Our solution today is Mount Etna. We want to re-implement implementation 2.0 with the assistance of a Sherpa, your professional systems integrator. They will gather requirements during the design phase and implement testing and training as well. We want to see clean data as well. So that involves cycle counts for high variance SKUs, syncing with the cloud point of sale system, and having accurate forecasting. We also want to enhance the data. So this involves real-time data uploads, customs data for supplier orders, and expired food logic. Next, we'll talk about our implementation 2.0.
Thanks, Michael. So within implementation 2.0, this comprises of professional systems integration, requirements gathering to determine the perfect design for this warehouse, as well as testing and training to ensure that users can efficiently use the system. We hope to use implementation 2.0 because the first implementation did not follow industry best practices, and the result of Project Mont Blanc reflects that decision. We want to determine what your users want out of the system and ensure, again, that the users can efficiently use the system. The resources we'll require for this prong is CST systems. How will we do this? We hope to hire a professional systems integrator to design and rebuild the data warehouse, using information gathered from meetings held with stakeholders to gather their use cases to understand the requirements and the perfect design for this warehouse. We also hope to test the system in one of 14 stores and implement a training plan for each employee role. The KPI mapping with this prong is that the system grows with the company for at least 8 years, and the estimated timeline includes requirements and design for a month, integration for 3 months, testing for a month, and training for a month after that as well. Next, I'll pass it off to Jonathan to talk about clean data.
Thank you, Joyce. So what is clean data? We believe clean data is being able to have the most accurate data possible. And to be able to do this, we want to be able to know that the cycle counts for high variance SKUs are being conducted. And they are also being synced with our cloud POS system that would be implemented afterwards. We believe using this will have accurate forecasting to make those better business-related decisions done by management. We believe this is important because without filtered and modified data, it will be difficult to be able to explore, understand, and model effective data strategies for the company going forward. After the physical standing would be completed, there will be direct updates being sent into the cloud POS system. The resources we've allocated for this is a customer scorecard system that will measure customer satisfaction and a business analyst being able to make those data-related decisions. As to how we will implement this solution, we will ensure that store associates, like Julia, will be able to conduct high cycle counts of high variance SKUs. All of this information and errors will be found during the counts and will be transferred directly into the POS system. The POS system would be cloud hosted as well. That will ensure transaction evaluations and reports can be pulled from any location, emphasizing the importance of a work from home solution to be able to check this information from any location. The scorecard system will also be implemented to be able to measure accuracy, ease of access, and customer satisfaction so we can ensure that people like Mark are satisfied with the solution that we have. The KPI that we have mapped for this is that customer satisfaction on those scorecards is always above 80%. The estimated timeline that we have for this is the count training being conducted for 1 month, the cloud POS implementation and syncing done for 2 months, and the scorecards being developed and deployed within 1 month. Next, Michael will discuss our enhanced data strategy.
Not only do we want to clean the data, we want to enhance it so people like Mark and Julia can use the data more efficiently. This involves real-time uploads, customs data for supplier orders, and expired food logic. Real-time data is essential for non-in-store purchases like web or phone orders. This also allows buyers like Mark to streamline the customs form, which can be tedious and complicated to do. As well, enhancing customer experience and reducing waste is the logic behind expired food logic. For this, we'll need CTS systems, development and integration team as well. How we will do this? With the cloud-based point-of-sale system, transactions can be uploaded to the data warehouse in real time. This allows for accurate inventory counts no matter what time of day or if a bulk upload has already been completed. Suppliers will be given a web interface to manage their ingredients list for customs. This is optional as we know that suppliers can be difficult to change their methods and they have many different customers as well. So this means that buyers will also manage the list through a similar interface. As well, inventory counts will be compared to order dates to identify soon to expire goods. Managers can then mark down goods for quick sale. This reduces waste and increases customer satisfaction. In the end, we want to see a KPI map to this of digital growth sales 20% increasing year over year. The estimated time frame is 1 month for supplier transition and 2 months for integrations of this prong. Next, Joyce will talk about our change management system.
Thanks, Michael. So within our change management strategy today, we want to begin with awareness. We hope to send an email from James to the company addressing the mishap and the errors of the Mont Blanc debacle and step forwards for recovery. In this email, we also hope to highlight some desires, which include intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. We hope that for sales associates like Julia and buyers like Mark, that there will be centralized information which will streamline their workflow. Additionally, we hope to instill financial incentives for managers for accurate inventory counts. This will encourage managers as well as sales associates like Julia to accurately count the inventory stock and to ensure that there is no difference between what is actually there and what is projected to be there. For knowledge, we hope to host webinars and virtual workshops on how to accurately record information into the new system. And for ability, we want to recognize that on average, it takes 66 days to form a habit. Therefore, we hope to closely monitor the data entered into the new system for 90 days to ensure that there is no error, as well as hold training assessments where employees must score over 70% to pass. And last but not least, for reinforcement, we hope to have feedback surveys after each webinar and workshop, employee satisfaction scorecards, as well as check-ins with employees to understand what their experience is like with the new data warehouse. Next, I'll pass it off to Jonathan to talk about our long-term solutions.
Thank you, Joyce. So we hope that after a successful implementation of Mount Etna, there's 4 different long-term solutions we can be able to build on for the future. The first will be able to integrating a CRM system that can amplify customer interactions. So important to be able to emphasize that the COVID-19 pandemic has never realized the importance of customer relations. And we believe that managing coupons, custom orders, and just general customer interactions to be able to build on that and build on that success. We can also see an e-commerce site being developed that would have user-friendliness at the center of this site. We believe a streamlined pickup and delivery system would be perfect from the higher rates of people staying at home due to legislative orders. We also hope that AI forecasting could also be implemented. This will be able to better forecast stock requirements and automate basic stable and stock items and streamline the buying process and help managers to be able to focus on the bold and innovative decisions and ideas that they have. For risk management, we believe that it was an error for one of the managers to be able to unilaterally decide to implement batch processing rather than real-time processing in data transfers. So we believe that implementing a policy where management is mandated to conduct and store a stakeholder analysis and risk management report before any major decisions are being made will be able to mitigate any of those risks in the long term. Next, for a look at our timeline of our solution, Michael will discuss that.
Thanks, Jonathan. We have 2 main milestones. First, at end of month 1, we want to see that the requirements gathered is complete. Then, following month 4, we want to see the testing begin and training of our employees also begin. We'll talk about this timeline more in our question and answer period. Next, Jonathan will talk about our financials.
Thank you, Michael. So we've divided our costs into 3 different distinct cost pools that match with the stages of our implementation plan. For implementation 2.0, we believe the CST systems and the financial incentives for managers would total $132,000. For the clean data step, we also hope the hiring of that business analyst to be able to monitor the data, and a customer scorecard system being implemented will result in a cost of $83,500. And for the enhanced data strategy, using the CST systems development and any additional implementations based off of the requirements that they suggest, $25,000 would be a fair allocation for this step. For a look at the total finances for the year 1, we believe that dependent on the requirements gathering stage and the ETL tool being implemented, the year 1 cost could cost from $270,500 to $370,500. We believe this is an effective range to be able to monitor, and we believe that the solution will be able to pivot the innovation that you always prided yourself on, and this cost is just one step for that. Next, Joyce will discuss our risk management strategies.
Thanks, Jonathan. So for our first risk today, we have identified that employees may be unreceptive to change and will not comply with the new data entry standards. Our mitigation for this is to hold check-ins with said employees and understand their pain points with this data warehouse and reinforcing stronger consequences if they continually do not comply with the new changes. Our second risk today is that there may be internet connection loss during storms and bad weather. And our mitigation for this is having consistent bulk uploads alongside real-time uploads to ensure that if this were the case, that some data is retained within the data warehouse and is easily accessed. Now I'll pass it off to Jonathan to end us off today.
Thank you, Joyce. So when we came here today, we wanted to discuss how can Armillo move on from the failure of Project Mont Blanc and re-implement an effective data warehouse strategy to build on the innovation that you pride yourself on. The criteria of scalability, accuracy, and ensuring digital sales are at the heart of your solution. We believe that re-implementing a Project Mont Blanc, while this time focusing on good data strategies, and with the help and the Sherpa of a professional system integrators, the impact of this can ensure confidence for buyers, sales associates, and managers to be able to be satisfied with Armillo's information strategies. And to end this off, I want to reintroduce Mark and Julia. And we believe that after this implementation is done, Mark and Julia will be able to succeed in all of the aspects that they had problems in their pain points. And they will know that Armillo is working with them instead of against them. Thank you all so much. And we'll be open for any questions now.
Justin?
Thanks, guys. That was extremely well thought out. I really appreciate you walking us through that. Can you jump back to your SWOT analysis slide? As a leadership team, there's a bit of a bad taste in our mouth, as you guys have picked up on through some of your slides. And I want to talk about some of the fun stuff and what the opportunity is here for Mount Etna and what we're looking at for upside.
Absolutely. So some of the benefits is that we want to see the growth match the company. Mount Etna, unlike Mount Blanc, is very scalable and addresses the opportunities that we can make better data decisions and better data analytics for your company.
Murray?
Great job, guys. I have a clear understanding of where we're going forward, but what about the time being? So what are we going to do tomorrow on addressing our stakeholders' requirements? Because it'll take some time to implement this new solution.
Again, that's a great question. We want to see a gradual transition to the new system. As it is, we can work around and do temporary fixes for Mount Blanc. However, it's not sustainable. So that's why in 6 months, we want to see the pilot for Mount Etna and transition to the new system. So in the meantime, we're continuing to use the existing system and slowly transition our data and transactions to both systems following and then one system in the end.
Claudio?
Thanks, guys. Good compliments as well. I like the way that you kind of put some faces on some of the challenges that we're having, both in terms of our sales reps and our buyers. My question is, so you've clearly indicated that this is not we didn't fail because we chose the wrong technology. We failed because we didn't implement properly. I'm getting mixed messages from my team. How can we be sure that that the technology that we have for Mont Blanc and just reusing it is the right decision?
We
That's
believe some of them is.
Sorry.
Apologies, Joyce. You can, and I'll build on your answer afterwards.
Thank you, Jonathan. So that's a great question, Claudio. Sorry, do you mind repeating your question again? Apologies on my end.
No problem. So I think your recommendation is keep the same technology, just re-implement with better knowledge, better expertise. And you seem to be sure that there's no, our technology choices were fine to begin with, but they were made by team members that aren't IT people. So how can we be sure that we're on the right platforms?
We can be sure by holding interviews with relevant stakeholders to understand the needs and to understand their needs for this data warehouse, so we can use those needs and design a warehouse that would complement and suit all their needs. So more than one person's opinion will be taken into the design of this warehouse moving forwards. And Jonathan, if you'd like to add on, I'd love for that.
Yes, Claudio, we believe that with the recommendation from that AWS consultant that you consulted with, that CST will be able to give you that evaluation on the technology that is being implemented. And we believe it is good technology. In addition, we see that one of the errors that were made is that I believe James unilaterally decided to use batch time processing instead of real-time processing. And we believe that our long-term strategy of having that drafting and stakeholder analysis being conducted before any major managerial decisions in information systems would be able to mitigate any errors like that in the future.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Danielle?
There seems to be a lot of work in the change management. It was an extensive plan. Just wondering as to who's going to be responsible for all of that work.
That is a great question, Danielle. We hope that the managers at our Millo, as well as the HR managers in your company, will work together in creating the incentives and rolling out with the plan.
All right, thank you for all your questions and your answers. Everyone is now welcome to leave the Zoom room. Thanks again.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges.